Thanks, Connie. She said intense upgrades. Okay, good. I'm so glad to hear it. Okay, so let me talk about a couple things. Related to physical health and dietary and those sorts of things, I offered a series a while back called Minding the Matter. I'm not a health expert. I'm not a trained nutritionist. I'm not pretending to be. The only reason I did that program is because when I needed to get well and my team directed me towards food first, not exercise, not hiring a trainer, not hitting the gym, they directed me towards food and cleaning up my food first. And they directed me towards very specific things, and I followed that lead and I listened, and within 5 days I started to feel better. I followed a very dedicated program for, I think it was 90 days. And I couldn't believe, I mean, especially I was 45, I think, maybe 46 at the time. I'm 48 now, verging on 49. And I can't believe the transformation that was available strictly from changing what I ate. And it wasn't radical. It was not calorie restriction. It was actually the opposite of everything that I had thought. And I mean, I'm a fairly informed person, and I was like, wait, what? So I was shocked. But as I read, my team added my Divine Connection added to what I was led towards reading, which was The Gut Balance Revolution by Dr. Gerard Mullen. He's a gastroenterologist at Johns Hopkins University. And I heard him in an interview, and I felt my team go, listen, Jill, listen. And I heard what he was saying, and he said a couple things that totally caught my ear. And one of the things that he said was, our body and the gut microbiome in particular is a bit more like an X-Files episode than what you'd imagine. And I was like, oh, I heard that. I heard, the context of supernatural. I heard the context of mysterious and not unknowable, but a little bit odd, a little bit unusual, right? Anyway, so I read the book. I actually don't read many books, and I actually read the whole thing, which is unusual for me. As I'm reading it, though, I felt like what he was saying was exactly what I needed. So I followed his advice. I actually made it a little bit harder. I took out the cheese and I took out the dairy, even what he calls phase 1. My team was sharing with me so much more information about the pivotal role that the gut microbiome plays in human health and human well-being. And again, within 5 days, I started to physically feel better. And the more I did it, the more amazingly transformed I felt. I felt almost supernatural in the clarity of my brain and all those things. So anyway, I had such an amazing experience with that. I couldn't not share it with others, okay? So it's available to you. Do I think it will help everybody? You guys, I don't know. But I see you as a sovereign being, and I want you to know that that's available as a choice. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Offering a food and nutrition and physical wellness program has been the most bizarre experience, even though everything else I do could be considered very bizarre by most people's standards. There is something really weird that happens with I want to call it intelligent consciousness of the gut. And it is like an X-Files episode. And that the gut microbiome is, it is an ecosystem of either something that's helping you be your best self or actually getting in the way of you being your best self. I'm not kidding you. So the way that level of consciousness affects our brain level of consciousness is absolutely fascinating. I don't know if mainstream humanity will, or even science, will ever really understand it, because it is so, it's bizarre. And I think it's impossible, at least in our current time frame, our current span of human existence, to fully comprehend the the consciousness that's going on at a gut microbiome level. And this is, bacteria, and I'm going to have the wrong words. Connie, you might be able to help me out because I know that you are a trained nutritionist. But I can't remember the statistic, and I'm sorry. I'm going to throw out the Jill version of it. But there is something. It's like if yeah, it's so funny that I'm getting tripped up here. Yeah, okay, my team is laughing. They're like, you got it, slow down. You don't have to get it precise to get the general gist of it. If we as humans understood how much of our beingness is actually non-human material. The gut microbiome, the bacteria, the natural bacteria that is part of a healthy human, it's non-human life. That's so weird, right? So what are we doing to inspire and support and create health in that area of our beingness? Because what I found out for myself is I'm generally a happy person, but what I realize now is that unhealthy food cravings come from that unhealthy or disbiosys in the gut microbiome. Okay, so this is okay. Yeah, what am I trying to get to? Jesus is like, I'll help you out. Okay, so what I'm trying to get to is that there are so many people that want to be physically healthier. There are very few people that I know that are eating all the right things, exercising all the right ways. They know they're just physically like, I've got it. I'm there. You know what I mean? That I'd say that's the minority, the very slim minority of the population. And most of us are kind of like, no, what are we supposed to do again? Right? I have had the strangest situation with offering a health program, in that I tend to get these emails from I can feel their brainwaves, really, really intelligent people saying, okay, I want to do Minding the Matter, or I signed up for Minding the Matter. Here's my situation. And there's like big, long paragraphs of their journey with this diet and that diet. And then sometimes it's, I know this is true. And what about this? And what about that? And what about this program? And what about that book? And as if, and I love the questions, but I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, hang on. I haven't read all those books, and I'm not pretending I have. But what I feel energetically in it is so much a game. It's a game of I want to say, how do you want to put it? I want to call it invasive, but then it seems like some alien force that is like out to malevolently mess you up. And it's not like that. It just, or is it? My team just said, Anyway, it's not for your highest good. Trying to keep you from changing its system, because it will get messed up. It's not malevolent, though. It's not evil. It just wants to live, and it's kind of at your expense. But it's not anyway. So the part of you that can be grumpy and have sugar addictions or have salt addictions, and no, it's like that part of you that you're like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be going to the fridge and grabbing this unhealthy thing, but you're eating it, and it's almost like your brain is like, we should not be doing this. So what is that force that is taking over in that moment? And I would offer to you that it is a dysbiotic gut microbiome. And the reason I know that is based on my connection and based on my human experience as Jill, which is within 5 days of me changing what I was eating and not having sugar, not even fruit, no sodas, just water, right? Or just tea. I think coffee is allowed on it too. I can't remember the logistics. I'm not really a huge coffee drinker, but anyway, my cravings were gone. And the cool thing is that I'm a major sugar. I like candy, cookies, that kind of stuff, pastries. Oh my God. And bread, right? So within I think when I did it, it was around late, I think it was October 9th or October 10th of that year. And of course, Halloween in the USA, especially major candy fest. And I was just so aware of how I did not want those things. And I love like Butterfinger candy bars. And I remember saying to my younger daughter at the time, I said, you could put a Butterfinger on my tongue and I would take it off with no problem whatsoever. Okay, so going back to the long emails and the whole, what about this and what about that? The gut microbiome is powerful enough to get us, and I think most of us can see this in our lives, to have moods that we don't want to have, to eat things that we don't want to eat, and to say things even that we don't want to say, to be a version of ourselves that we don't want to be. It's amazing and crazy, but so true. So am I saying that if you get your gut microbiome in a happy, healthy, well-being, non-craving state of affairs, that you could be transformed? Yes, I'm definitely saying that. Is that like the route to like connecting with your teams and all these other things? No, because I don't promise that we can do that. In the human structure, we're not set up to have dialogue with our teams. I have it. It's like I know why and I don't know why. I know why because I'm here to help you. I'm here to help this reality. And you have gifts that I don't have. And I'm not saying, God, I wish I had your gifts, right? Well, maybe I am. Anyway, we don't need to have the same gifts as the other person has to be a bringer of light, to be on purpose, etc. But it's fascinating and horrifying to me that this disbiosys can mess us up so much. And related to the emails that I've been getting over the past couple days, because it is kind of a season for like, New Year's resolutions, and I don't do those, but anyway, it's kind of like, okay, I want to fix this, It's fascinating to me that there are so many ways that this distortion shows up in our life. And I mean, just think about it. If you stand back, if you're one of those people that says, oh, should I do this program? Or should I do this program? Or maybe you've been one of those people that you've tried so many different things and you still don't have the feeling of well-being that you're looking for, right? It's amazing how I imagine that you know exactly what you need to know. The only problem is application. That's it. If you would do what you know you should do, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? And I'm not saying I'm perfect either, because my gut microbiome is not where it was when I was following that program. So yes, it is one of those things that you have to do it. You have to have a healthy gut microbiome and feed it accordingly in order to not have the cravings, etc. So it's but it's because I'm in the same situation. I know what I should be doing and I'm not doing it right now. I get close and then I go off, but it's hard. It is hard. I'm not lying. It is hard to do. That's why most of us aren't doing it, you guys. So the power of this dysbiosis is fascinating to me, impressive to me, and horrifying to me. So for any of you that are kind of searching for the right thing to do, just do something, you guys. Just do something. Keep it simple if you want to. The Minding the Matter program is there. I should be following it more religiously now or diligently at least, than I am. But I'm doing okay, right? Could I be doing better? Yes, I could be doing a lot better. You could probably be doing a lot better too. Some of you have a system that works, and I love you. Every time I hang out with you guys that have your system, I'm thinking of you, Anne, in Denmark. I've traveled with you many times, and Anne's got a system that works for her, and I'm like, yes, and it's consistent, and you're awesome. A lot of us don't have that. Some of us are searching, or we get there, and then we're not there, and then we get there, and then we're not there. But just do something. Because the knowledge, it's not lack of knowledge that we have, it's lack of application of knowledge. And part of the barrier is that gut microbiome. And I do believe, yeah, thank you. I just want my team to say, this is why we're talking about it. Your awareness that it is, that barrier, it's not in knowledge, it's in you actually have a system within your human body that is fighting you. You're right. There is a force that takes over. And you're like, wait a minute, why am I eating the ice cream? Or why am I eating the potato chips? Or whatever that is. It is a force of nature that we as humans are hosts to. And I know that just sounds like so creepy, but it's so real. And you can kill it off. You really can. Once you stop feeding it what it wants and you feed it something else and you dial everything in, and it's hard. Those first 5 days, for some people, I get major die-off symptoms where and this is, people talk about die-off, but I don't think they talk about the metaphysical nature of it. It's not feeding. It's no longer feeding the unhealthy gut microbiome in your body, in your gut, in your system that you are a host to. That's why those cravings are so intense, because that literally life form is saying, I have to have the sugar, or I have to have the wine or the beer or whatever else it is using as part of its livelihood. It can't get it if you don't eat it. See what I'm saying? So it needs you to survive. So it takes you. I don't think it's willpower. I think it is knowledge, and hopefully this helps. And I know it sounds crazy, but I say lots of crazy things that are true. So with your awareness of where that's coming from, and it's not willpower, it's actually a life form in you that is so tiny. I mean, it's microbial, right? In size. It takes, like, I don't know what kind of electron microscope or something it would take to see it, but it's there. And once you stop feeding it, it'd be like, I'm dying. So you're gonna feel like you're dying. Let me give you a headache. Let me hand you diarrhea. Let me hand you a migraine here and there to let you feel that I'm dying and I need you to feed me, right? So when you stop feeding it after it is sort of dead and it's flushed out of your system through your normal body processes, you don't need a coffee enema or anything crazy, it will naturally eliminate and die off. And then what you're feeding in place of it is the healthy microbiome. And I do kind of think, for some of you that know the Gremlins movie, remember Gizmo? You want gizmos in your gut. And the gizmos are happy, and they're not moody, and they're sharp and clear and focused. So your brain feels amazing, your moodiness goes down, your cravings for unhealthy things that you know are unhealthy for you go away, you have more energy, you sleep better. It is great. Your skin, oh my God. It is not. So, of course, some of you that would normally be asking, why aren't I doing that? Because it's hard, right? That force of I want to say it's not dystopia. It's nasty. It's the icky, the mean, the gremlin energy. And that's a force to be reckoned with. I do feel like that's why most of us have it's a real battle. Yeah, and for those that they've got just gizmos, right? They're just like, I don't understand the problem. You should be exercising. Like, why are you having that soda? Why do you need that, mug of beer every night? I don't do that, right? And they seem so holier than thou sometimes, and sometimes you just want to smack them like, you don't get it. They don't get it. They don't have that disbiosys like you have. So why do you have it? There's a whole bunch of reasons. Too much antibiotics over your life, some intense round of antibiotics where it's a very precarious, delicate rhythm down there in the gut, and the slightest little offset just starts to turn things. So for some, anyway, there's so many variables at play that it can be anything, and most of us do get in a dystopic situation at some point, dysbiosis. Okay. So the why, again, watch your brain, right? Because that level of energy within you will totally mess with you and have you on all these tangents of, oh, I'm doing research and I'm reading this book. Well, are you doing what it says to do? Well, no, I'm evaluating, right? So again, there's a whole bunch of tricks because it just wants to live. And it's so funny. I'll reveal something here. Let me get a drink of water. This is, there was a classroom situation when one of my daughters was in elementary school, and there was 1 year where she had head lice like 2 or 3 times, and it was just like, oh my God, this isn't happening. I had never experienced anything like that before, and I'm just like, oh my God. And at one point I remember she was, She was looking out the window as we were driving to school. She's very profound in a lot of situations in her life. And she said, what, why is it so hard to kill them? And she says, it's almost like they just want to live. And I was like, yeah, that's so deep if you really think about it. Everything just wants to live, whether it's the head lice or the virus, the negative viruses. And oh my God, are there any positive viruses? I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. But anyway, so this gremlin-like energy, whatever that gut microbiome version is, but again, what I learned was so opposite of everything I thought I knew. Oh, just take some probiotics, that'll fix it. And what Dr. Mullen says is that's like the worst thing you can do, because we don't understand the versions and varieties of probiotics very well right now in our current point in history. So it can actually be adding fuel to the fire. The version of probiotic that we don't have the formula of, okay, if you have this symptom and this type of weight gain and this, let me, let's put you in the checklist. Oh, okay, you need this version of probiotics. Anyway, well, let me put it, some of you will say, no, I know somebody that knows that. Well, that's great, but the rest of the world doesn't know it because we're still suffering, okay? Or we're still not our best. We're in a dire state here. And anyone that disagrees with that, I don't know what you're looking at, okay? Obesity rates at all ages is just, going up and up and up and up. Diabetes, heart disease, it goes on and on and on and on. And I know some people are like, well, they just need to exercise. It's possible that if you're saying that, you have never been in a situation where you feel so icky overall physically. That doesn't mean you're not productive. That doesn't mean you're not great at your job and you can function. But the idea of anything extra like exercise is just like, it makes me want to snort. Like, yeah, that's funny, right? I have just enough energy to get through my day, right? And the idea of more, it's like, oh, but you'll get more energy. Literally, if you look at adrenal fatigue and, leaky gut syndrome, which is also called intestinal permeability or stomach lining permeability is the medical term for it. So don't go to your MD, your medical doctor, and say leaky gut. They'll just go like that's quackery. But if the minute you say intestinal lining permeability, then they'll go, oh yeah, that's a problem. It's the same thing. That's what we're talking about here. Anyway, so there's literal biological damage that can have occurred that is repairable. That if you're in that state, exercise is like the last thing you want to do. Anyway, all right. So I've talked for 30 minutes about this. Didn't expect that, but I like what came through. I just want you to be healthy. So try not to overthink it, you guys. I do feel like you know what to do, and I'm trying to add more information to why you're not doing what you know to do, okay? I'm here for you, right? The Minding the Matter program is there. It does work. Even nutrition, I've had different nutritionists that have done it, because even nutritionists maybe don't apply what they know. Wink, wink, right? That happens. We're all there. We've all got the same challenge with that gremlin life force that we as humans are a host to. Yeah. Okay, that's where we are. All right. What else is going on? Again, hugs to all the 13-year-olds in the world. Oh, girls, especially, be nice to each other. All right. I know social media can be used as a weapon, and if we can just get these 13-year-olds up to even 14, I feel like some of the storm is over. But I've got a 13-and-a-half-year-old, and it's hard, you guys. Just ready to cry right now. Not going to. Anyway, hugs and love to all of you. I love you so much. What's going on? Okay, anything going on in the chat room I should look at? Let's see. Okay. Oh, lots. And I have been ignoring you over here. I apologize. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. I love you guys. Okay. Sheila, good question. With regard to Minding the Matter, are the food recommendations the same for everyone? I mean, in general, what I wrote down, if you do the ebook version of mine and what Dr. Mullins does in that version that I recommend, or if you just buy his book and do that all on your own without my added insights from the team about the metaphysical nature of our bodies and messages related to that, okay? There is definitely a, eat these things, don't eat these things. Okay, so are the food recommendations the same for everyone? In that way, yes. But yeah, so yeah, they are. And let me know if you have any other questions about that. I mean, you can customize it though. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, you have to have, this is not a green celery every morning juicing sort of thing to answer maybe that in another way. And if that's working for you, that's great. Yay, you. Okay, good. Okay, very good. Okay, I will say the name of the book again. It's The Gut Balance, with a B, Revolution. And it's Dr. Gerard, Gerard, Mullin, Mull. I always get this part. I'm always like, is it E-N or I-N? But it's M-U-L-L, either I-N or E-N. So you can do that book directly, or you can do Jill Renee Feeler, Minding the Matter, to try that out. And I do have special pricing for January. Okay. Okay, good. Awesome. Some other people are sharing about their own gut microbiome healing. Yay! Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, Whole30. I have a client / friend, and she's traveled with me, Hope, very smart, and an oncology nurse, by the way. And when she asked about it, she had sent an email, and we were emailing back and forth, and she said it sounds like Whole30. Again, I'm not a diet aficionado. And I don't mean diet like fad diet. I'm not even a nutrition aficionado. So when I did it, it wasn't like, oh, I've tried everything. Not that kind of person. I didn't have that situation. Anyway, that wasn't me. So the Whole30, once she said it, I looked it up, and I think Whole30 could work for people. I don't know how much sugar is recommended in it. Anyway, so Whole30 might be an option too. This isn't the only program that will help you guys, but it's what I know works because I did it. Okay. Okay, very good. All right, let's see what else. Yeah, you bring up the issue of food and like the right way to eat, and it's like everybody's got an opinion, right? And I just want people to have the answers, right? Answers for them. That's right. Okay. Oh, thank you, Connie. She's saying, as a nutritionist, I completely recommend this program. Yeah, Connie read through it. And then we had a session at one point, and she said, by the way, I read through the material, and I wholeheartedly like, yes, yes, yes. What I was looking for is there, and there wasn't anything in there that I disagreed with. I think you said that, Connie. Anyway, so thank you for that. Yeah.